The alien queen nurse gave me the wrong shock, then closed the door and said no one can know. Dr. Marcus Chen opened his eyes slowly. Everything felt heavy and strange. The white ceiling above him looked different from what he remembered. This was not his room on Earth. This was not even a human-made ceiling. Marcus tried to move his head. A sharp pain ran through his neck. He remembered now. The accident on the new planet. His environmental suit had broken. The toxic air had gotten inside. He had fallen down and hit his head on the rocks. "You are awake," said a voice. It was deep and had a strange clicking sound mixed with it. Marcus turned his head carefully. Next to his bed stood the tallest creature he had ever seen. She was at least 8 feet tall. Her body looked like a giant insect, but she walked on 2 legs like a person. Her skin was dark green and shiny. She had 4 arms instead of 2. Her head was large with big compound eyes that looked like black mirrors made of tiny pieces. "I am Zexathara," the creature said. "I am your nurse. You are safe now." Marcus knew about her species. The Vorthik were famous across the galaxy. They were the best doctors and nurses anywhere. Their queens, like Zexathara, could heal almost any injury or sickness. Humans were lucky to have them as friends. "How long was I unconscious?" Marcus asked. His voice sounded weak. 3 days, Zexathara replied. She moved closer to his bed. Her 4 arms worked on different machines around him. "Your nervous system was badly damaged. The toxic gases from the planet hurt your brain and spine. But do not worry. I can fix this." Marcus watched as she prepared a strange device. It looked like a metal helmet with many wires coming out of it. Blue light glowed from inside it. "This is neural stimulation therapy," Zexathara explained. "It will send small electric signals to your brain and spine. This will help your damaged nerves grow back. It is completely safe for humans." Marcus nodded. He had heard of this treatment before. Many human doctors tried to copy Vorthik medicine, but they could never do it as well as the real thing. Zexathara placed the device on Marcus's head. It felt cold against his skin. She moved to a control panel with many buttons and screens. Her fingers moved quickly over the controls. "Now, this might feel a little strange," she said, "but it will be over soon." Marcus closed his eyes and waited. He heard a soft humming sound from the machine. Suddenly, Zexathara made a clicking sound. It was not a normal sound. It sounded worried. "Wait," she said quickly. "I need to check something." But it was too late. The machine had already started. A powerful shock ran through Marcus's body. It was not gentle like Zexathara had promised. It felt like lightning was running through his veins. Marcus's back lifted off the bed. His whole body shook. The pain was incredible. He tried to scream, but no sound came out. The electric current seemed to go everywhere inside him. His brain felt like it was on fire. The shock lasted only a few seconds, but it felt like hours. When it stopped, Marcus fell back onto the bed. He was breathing hard. His heart was beating very fast. Zexathara rushed to his side. Her compound eyes were wide with fear. Her 4 hands moved over the machines, checking everything. "Oh no, oh no, oh no," she kept saying. Her translator made her panic sound even more frightening. "What happened?" Marcus asked. His voice was different now. It sounded clearer, stronger. Zexathara did not answer right away. She was reading the numbers on her machines. Her mandibles clicked together nervously. This was a bad sign. Marcus had learned that Vorthik only did this when they were very upset. "I made a mistake," she said finally. Her voice was so quiet that Marcus could barely hear her. "A terrible mistake." "What kind of mistake?" Marcus asked. He tried to sit up. Surprisingly, he felt much better than before. The pain in his head was gone. His body felt strong. Zexathara moved to the door of the medical room. She pressed a button, and Marcus heard the lock click. She had locked them inside. "I used the wrong setting," she said. She was not looking at him. "The machine was set for Vorthik physiology, not human. You should be dead right now." Marcus felt a cold fear in his stomach. "But I feel fine. Better than fine, actually. That is what scares me," Zexathara said. She finally looked at him. No human has ever survived a full Vorthic neural treatment. The electric current is too strong. It would fry your brain instantly. She started pacing around the room. Her 6 legs moved in a nervous pattern. But you are not dead, she continued. You are not even hurt. Something has happened to you. Something that should not be possible. Marcus sat up completely now. He felt amazing. His vision was clearer than it had ever been. He could hear sounds from other parts of the space station that he had never noticed before. Even his thinking felt faster and sharper. Maybe Vorthic medicine works better on humans than we thought, he said. No, Zexathara said quickly. You do not understand. I have studied human biology for 20 years. I know exactly what should have happened. You should be brain dead. She stopped pacing and looked directly at him. If the medical council finds out what I did, they will strip me of my caste, she said. I will lose everything. My status, my position, my honor. They might even exile me from my homeworld. Marcus began to understand why she was so scared. In Vorthic society, medical mistakes were considered the worst crimes. A nurse who hurt a patient by accident would face punishment almost as bad as death. But it was just an accident, Marcus said. That does not matter, Zexathara replied. I violated the most sacred law of my people. Never experiment on another species without proper testing. What I did to you was essentially an experiment, and experiments on sentient beings are forbidden. She moved closer to his bed again. Her voice became very serious. No one can know about this. She said, no one can know what really happened in this room. If they ask, I will say you had a normal human treatment. You must promise me you will not tell anyone. Marcus looked at her frightened face. He felt sorry for her. She had been trying to help him, and now she was terrified of losing everything. I promise, he said. But what if something is really wrong with me? What if I get sick later? I will monitor you closely, Zexathara said. If anything bad happens, I will find a way to fix it. But please, you must keep the secret. Marcus nodded. He had no choice. Besides, he really did feel great. Maybe nothing bad would happen at all. But deep inside, he had a feeling that his life had just changed forever. The wrong shock had done something to him. Something that neither he nor Zexathara understood yet. And as he lay back down on the medical bed, Marcus could swear he could feel the electric current of the space station's computers humming through the walls. 3 days had passed since the accident in the medical bay. Marcus Chen sat in his small room on the space station, staring at his hands. Something was very wrong with him. Or maybe something was very right. He could not decide which. The changes had started small. At first, he thought his eyes were just getting better after the treatment. Colors looked brighter. He could see tiny details that he had never noticed before. But now, things were getting strange. Marcus could see the electric wires inside the walls. Not just imagine them, actually see them. Thin blue lines of energy ran through the station like glowing rivers. When he concentrated, he could follow these lines with his eyes and watch the electricity move from room to room. This is impossible, he whispered to himself. A soft knock came at his door. Marcus already knew who it was before the person spoke. He could sense them somehow. Marcus, are you okay in there? It was Dr. Sarah Kim from the research team. You missed breakfast again. I'm fine. Marcus called back, just tired. But he was not tired. He had not slept for 2 days. Every time he closed his eyes, he could feel the thoughts of everyone else on the station. Their dreams were like radio signals in his head. He could not turn them off, okay? But Commander Walsh wants to see you in an hour, Sarah said. Don't forget. Marcus heard her footsteps walking away. But he could also sense something else about her. She was worried. Not just normal worry. She was scared. He could feel her emotions like heat coming from a fire. How was this possible? Marcus stood up and walked to his small mirror. He looked the same as always. Brown hair, brown eyes, nothing special. But when he looked closer, he could see his own nervous system. Thin lines of electric current ran under his skin like a map. Of lightning dot, another knock at his door made him jump. This time, he could not sense who it was. That was strange. Come in, he said. The door opened, and Zexathara entered quickly. She locked the door behind her and turned to face him. Her compound eyes looked worried. How are you feeling? She asked. Different, Marcus said honestly. Very different. Zexathara pulled out a small device and began scanning him with it. The machine made soft beeping sounds. Your brain activity is 3 times higher than normal human levels, she said. Your nervous system is processing information at incredible speeds, but somehow your body is handling it perfectly. I can see electricity, Marcus told her. I can feel other people's emotions. I think I can sense the station's computer thinking. Zexathara stopped scanning and looked at him with all 4 eyes wide. That should be impossible. She said, even for my people, those abilities take years of training to develop. Marcus sat down on his bed. What did that machine really do to me? I have been researching that question for 3 days, Zexathara said. She sat down across from him. The neural stimulation was designed for Vorthic biology. We have different brain structures than humans. The treatment was meant to enhance natural psychic abilities that my people are born with. Psychic abilities, yes, we can sense electromagnetic fields, feel the life energy of other beings, and sometimes connect with artificial intelligence systems. It is how we are such good doctors. We can feel what is wrong inside a patient's body. Marcus understood now, and somehow your treatment gave me these same abilities. It should have killed you, Zexathara said again. Human brains are not built to handle that much neural enhancement, but yours did. Not only did it handle the treatment, it seems to be getting stronger every day. A loud alarm suddenly filled the room. Both Marcus and Zexathara looked up in surprise. Attention all crew, came Commander Walsh's voice over the intercom. We have a minor technical problem in Section C. Maintenance teams report to your stations immediately. But Marcus could sense that it was not minor at all. Through the walls, he could feel panic from the engineering crew. Something was very wrong with the station's main computer. I have to go, Marcus said, standing up quickly. Wait, Zexathara said. Where are you going? The computer problem. I think I can help. No. Zexathara grabbed his arm with one of her 4 hands. You cannot reveal your abilities. If people find out what happened, we will both be in serious trouble. Marcus looked at her. He could feel her fear. It was strong and cold. But he could also sense something else happening in the station. The main computer was getting confused. Systems were starting to fail. If someone did not help soon, people could get hurt. I have to try, he said gently. Before Zexathara could stop him, Marcus walked out of his room. He moved through the station's corridors quickly. Other crew members were running around. But Marcus was not paying attention to them. He was following the electric lines in the walls. He could sense the problem now. The station's AI was having trouble processing information. Some of its circuits were overloading. It was like the computer was having a headache. Marcus reached the main computer room. 2 human engineers were standing outside, looking frustrated. The door won't open. One of them said, the computer locked us out. Let me try, Marcus said. The engineers looked at him strangely. Marcus, you're a biologist, not a computer expert. But Marcus was not listening. He placed his hand on the door's control panel. Immediately, he could feel the station's AI. It was scared and confused, like a hurt animal. Without thinking, Marcus sent out calming thoughts through the electric connection. He tried to show the AI that he was there to help, not hurt. The door opened with a soft hiss. The engineers stared at him in shock. How did you do that? Lucky guess, Marcus said quickly. But he knew it was not luck. He had just communicated with an artificial intelligence using only his thoughts. Marcus, Commander Walsh's voice came from behind them. She was walking toward them with a serious expression. I need to talk to you, now. Marcus felt his stomach drop. Commander Walsh was suspicious. He could sense her thoughts trying to figure out what was different about him. As they walked to her office, Marcus realized that keeping his new abilities secret was going to be much harder than he thought. Every time he used them, people noticed. And Commander Walsh was not the type of person who ignored strange things behind them. Zexathara followed at a distance. Marcus could feel her worry getting stronger with every step. Their secret was already starting to fall apart. In her office, Commander Walsh closed the door and turned to face Marcus. Her eyes were sharp and focused. "Marcus," she said slowly, "something very strange is happening on this station. Equipment is acting up. The AI is behaving oddly, and every time something weird happens, you seem to be nearby." Marcus tried to look innocent. "I don't know what you mean. 3 days ago, you were unconscious with severe brain damage," Walsh continued. "Now you're up and around like nothing happened. Dr. Kim says you look healthier than ever, and somehow, you just opened a door that our best engineers couldn't crack." She leaned forward in her chair. "I want to know what really happened in that medical bay." Marcus felt trapped. He could sense Commander Walsh's determination. She was not going to let this go. And somewhere in the corridor outside, he could feel Zexathara's terror growing stronger. The secret was about to come out, whether they wanted it to or not. Marcus sat in Commander Walsh's office, trying to think of what to say. He could feel her suspicion like a heavy weight in the air, through the walls. He sensed Zexathara waiting nervously in the corridor. "I'm waiting for an answer, Marcus," Commander Walsh said. Her arms were crossed, and her eyes never left his face. Before Marcus could speak, every light in the room went out. Emergency red lights began flashing, and alarms started blaring throughout the station. "All crew to emergency stations," came a voice over the intercom. "We have a critical system failure in the main reactor. This is not a drill." Commander Walsh jumped up from her chair. "Stay here," she told Marcus. "We'll continue this conversation later." But Marcus was already standing. Through his enhanced senses, he could feel what was happening. The station's main reactor was overheating. The computer systems that controlled it were failing one by one. If someone did not fix it soon, the reactor would explode. "Commander, I have to help," Marcus said. "You're a biologist, not an engineer," Walsh replied, moving toward the door. "Trust me," Marcus said. "I can fix this." Something in his voice made Walsh stop and look at him. Marcus could sense her confusion and the growing panic from the crew. Throughout the station, they ran together toward the reactor section. The corridors were filled with people moving quickly. Engineers shouted orders at each other. Everyone looked scared. When they reached the reactor control room, Marcus saw Chief Engineer Torres and his team standing around the main control panel. Their faces were pale with worry. "What's the situation?" Commander Walsh asked. "The main computer is completely confused," Torres said. "It's sending wrong signals to the reactor controls. The temperature is rising fast. If we can't regain control in the next 10 minutes, we'll have to evacuate the entire station." Marcus stepped forward. "Let me try." Torres looked at him strangely. "Marcus, this isn't biology. This is advanced reactor engineering." "I know," Marcus said, "but I might be able to help with the computer problem." Before anyone could stop him, Marcus placed both hands on the main control panel. Immediately, he felt the station's AI crying out in pain and confusion. The artificial intelligence was being overwhelmed by too much information. It could not process everything fast enough. Marcus closed his eyes and reached out with his mind. He felt the AI's panic and fear. Gently, he began to organize the confused data streams. He helped the AI separate important information from background noise. Slowly, the computer began to calm down. The warning alarms stopped blaring. The reactor temperature readings began to drop. "How is he doing that?" Torres whispered. Marcus opened his eyes. The control panel was working normally again. All the red warning lights had turned green. Everyone in the room was staring at him in complete silence. "Marcus," Commander Walsh said slowly, "what just happened?" Before Marcus could answer, Zexathara appeared in the doorway. Her compound eyes were wide with fear and worry. "I can explain," she said in her clicking voice. Commander Walsh turned to look at the tall alien nurse. "Explain what, exactly?" Zexathara entered the room slowly. Her forearms were shaking. 3 days ago, I made a terrible mistake. When I was treating Dr. Chen, I accidentally used the wrong setting on the neural stimulation device." "What kind of wrong setting?" Walsh asked. The machine was calibrated for Vorthic physiology. Not human, Zexathara continued. The treatment should have killed him instantly. But instead, it gave him abilities that no human should possess. Torres stepped forward. What kind of abilities? Marcus sighed. There was no point in hiding anymore. I can sense electromagnetic fields. I can feel other people's emotions. And I can communicate directly with computer systems using my thoughts. The room fell silent again. Everyone stared at Marcus like he had grown a second head. That's impossible. Torres said. Is it? Marcus asked. He looked at the control panel again. How else do you think I fixed the reactor? I didn't use my hands or tools. I talked to the AI directly through the electric connection and helped it organize its thoughts. Commander Walsh sat down heavily in a nearby chair. This is beyond anything we've ever seen. It gets more complicated, Zexathara said. If the medical council of my people finds out what I did, they will consider it an unauthorized experiment on another species. The punishment for that crime is exile, or worse. Dr. Sarah Kim suddenly appeared in the doorway. Commander, we're getting emergency messages from ships throughout this sector. Word is spreading about what just happened here. Walsh looked up. What do you mean? Someone recorded Marcus fixing the reactor, Sarah said. The video is already being shared across the Galactic Communication Network. Representatives from a dozen different species are requesting permission to board our station. Marcus felt his stomach drop. Why? Because what you just did should be impossible. Sarah explained. Humans aren't supposed to have psychic abilities. Most species in the galaxy don't have them either. Only a few, like the Vorthic, are born with these powers. Zexathara's mandibles clicked nervously. My people have spent thousands of years developing these abilities. Seeing a human gain them in just 3 days will shock the entire galaxy. Some species will see this as an opportunity, Sarah continued. Others will see it as a threat. And some will want to study Marcus like a laboratory specimen. Commander. Walsh stood up and began pacing. We need to contact Earth immediately. The government needs to know about this. No, said a new voice from the doorway. Everyone turned to see Dr. Velter, a tall blue-skinned alien from the planet Zirion. He was the station's head of alien relations. Dr. Velter, Walsh said, how long have you been listening? Long enough, the alien replied. Commander, if Earth learns about this, they will want to replicate the experiment. They will want to create more humans with these abilities. And what's wrong with that? Walsh asked. Everything, Dr. Velter said. The galaxy is not ready for a species like humans to have psychic powers. Humans are already known for being unpredictable and aggressive. If your people gain these abilities, other species will see it as a threat to galactic peace. Marcus could sense the fear coming from Dr. Velter. It was cold and deep. The alien was genuinely terrified of what Marcus represented. But I'm not aggressive, Marcus said. I just want to help people. That may be true for you, Dr. Velter replied. But what about other humans? What happens when your military leaders learn they can create soldiers who can control computers with their thoughts? Zexathara stepped closer to Marcus. This is why I wanted to keep it secret. I knew this would happen. Commander Walsh looked around the room at all the faces staring at her. What do you suggest we do? We need to call a meeting of the Galactic Council, Dr. Velter said. This situation affects everyone. A decision this important cannot be made by one species alone. And what about me? Marcus asked. Do I get a say in what happens to my life? Dr. Velter looked at him with his large silver eyes. Dr. Chen, you are no longer just a human scientist. Whether you wanted it or not, you have become something that could change the balance of power in the entire galaxy. Marcus looked around the room. Everyone was staring at him with mixtures of fear, wonder, and uncertainty he had never felt. More alone in his life. How long do we have before these other ships arrive? Commander Walsh asked. The first one will be here in 6 hours, Sarah replied. It's a Vorthic medical vessel. They're sending some of their highest-ranking queens to examine Marcus. Zexathara made a low clicking sound, including High Queen Zarvethes. She is the most powerful medical authority in Vorthic society. Is that good or bad? Marcus asked. Zexathara looked at him with all four eyes. She will decide whether you are a miracle or a monster, and her decision will determine the fate of both our species. Marcus felt the weight of the galaxy's attention settling on his shoulders. In just a few hours, his life had gone from secret-keeping to becoming the center of an interstellar crisis, and the hardest part was yet to come. 6 hours later, Marcus stood in the station's main docking bay, watching as alien ships arrived one by one. He had never seen so many different species in one place. Representatives from 12 different worlds had come to see him. The largest ship belonged to the Vorthic. It was twice the size of any other vessel and shaped like a giant beetle. When it docked, the air filled with the sound of clicking and humming as dozens of Vorthic queens emerged. At the front of the group walked the most impressive creature Marcus had ever seen. High Queen Zarvethes was even taller than Zexathara, nearly 10 feet high. Her exoskeleton was pure black with silver markings that seemed to glow in the light. She had 6 arms instead of 4, and her compound eyes were larger than Marcus's head. Dr. Marcus Chen, she said as she approached. Her voice was deep and commanding. I am High Queen Zarvethes. We need to talk. Marcus felt the power radiating from her. Through his enhanced senses, he could detect the incredible intelligence behind those alien eyes. This was not someone to take lightly, Your Majesty, Marcus said, bowing slightly. He was not sure of the proper greeting, but she seemed to approve. Commander. Walsh stepped forward. High Queen, welcome to Research Station Convergence. We're honored by your presence. Zarvethes barely looked at her. Her attention remained focused on Marcus. Dr. Chen, what has happened to you should not be possible. We have come to determine whether you represent hope or danger for the galaxy. Other alien representatives gathered around them. Marcus recognized some species from his studies, the blue-skinned Xerians, the crystalline Zephyrians, and the energy-being Luminals all watched him with intense interest. We propose a series of tests, announced Dr. Kethren, a Xerian diplomat. If Dr. Chen can prove that his abilities are stable and controlled, we will consider him safe. If not, the alien did not finish his sentence, but Marcus understood the threat. What kind of tests? Commander Walsh asked. High Queen Zarvethes gestured with 2 of her 6 arms. First, we will test his healing abilities. We have brought patients that our best doctors could not cure. If he can help them, it will prove his powers are beneficial. Marcus felt nervous, but he nodded. I'll try my best. They moved to a large room that had been converted into a medical facility. The first patient was a young Xerian child whose crystal body was cracked and cloudy. The child could barely move and was obviously in great pain. Our healers have tried everything, Dr. Kethren explained. The crystal corruption is spreading. Without help, the child will die within days. Marcus knelt beside the small patient. Through his enhanced senses, he could see the problem. The child's crystal structure was infected with a kind of energy virus. It was eating away at the healthy crystal from the inside. Gently, Marcus placed his hands on the child's arm. He reached out with his abilities, following the patterns of corruption through the crystal body. Slowly, carefully, he began to reverse the damage. He used his connection to electromagnetic fields to realign the crystal structure and purge the infection. The child's body began to clear. The cloudy corruption faded away, replaced by bright, healthy crystal. Within minutes, the young Xerian was sitting up and laughing. Dr. Kethren stared in amazement. Impossible. Our best healers worked for months and could not even slow the progression. How did you do it? Asked a luminal representative, its energy form flickering with curiosity. I could see the pattern of the infection, Marcus explained. Once I understood how it worked, I could reverse it. High Queen Zarvethes made a low humming sound. Interesting. Test 2. The second patient was even more challenging. A Vorthic warrior had been injured in an accident that damaged his neural pathways. He could not move his legs and could barely speak. Marcus examined the warrior carefully. The damage was complex, involving both physical injury and disrupted bioelectric fields. He worked for over an hour, slowly rebuilding the damaged connections between brain and body. When he finished, the warrior stood up and walked across the room. The other Vortha queens clicked excitedly among themselves. Remarkable, High Queen. Zarvathis said, even our greatest healers could not have achieved this. Test 3. The third test was different. They brought in a broken computer system from an old spacecraft. The artificial intelligence had been corrupted by a virus and was completely non-functional. Can you communicate with it and repair the damage? Asked a Zephyrian representative. Marcus placed his hands on the computer interface. Immediately, he felt the AI's confusion and pain. The virus had scrambled its memory files and decision-making processes. It was like trying to solve a puzzle with half the pieces missing. Working carefully, Marcus began to rebuild the AI's core. Programming, he restored corrupted files and created new pathways around damaged sections. After 2 hours of intense concentration, the computer came back to life. Thank you, the AI said in a mechanical voice. I was lost in darkness. You brought me back to the light. The alien representatives murmured among themselves. Some sounded impressed. Others worried. These tests prove that Dr. Chen's abilities are real and powerful, High Queen Zarvathis announced, but they do not prove that he can be trusted with such power. What do you mean? Marcus asked. Power without wisdom is dangerous, she replied. We need to know that you will use these abilities responsibly. For that, we have prepared a final test. High Queen Zarvathis gestured, and Vortha queens brought forward a stretcher. On it lay Zexathara, unconscious and barely breathing. Her exoskeleton had turned a sickly gray color, and strange crystals were growing from her joints. Marcus felt his heart stop. What happened to her? Crystal plague, Zarvathis said coldly. It is the most deadly disease known to our people. Once it starts, death comes within hours. Our greatest healers have already declared her case hopeless. Marcus knelt beside Zexathara's stretcher. Through his senses, he could see the disease eating away at her from the inside. It was far worse than anything he had faced before. This is your final test, Zarvathis continued. If you can save her, we will welcome humans as partners in galactic medicine. If you fail, humanity will be quarantined to prevent you from contaminating other species with dangerous experiments. Marcus looked up at the circle of alien faces surrounding him. He could sense their emotions, fear, hope, suspicion, and expectation, all mixed together. And if I refuse to take the test, he asked, then Zexathara dies. Zarvathis said simply, and we will assume that humans cannot be trusted with advanced abilities. Marcus looked down at Zexathara's gray face. She had risked everything to help him. She had kept his secret even when it could have destroyed her career. Now she was dying, and he was the only one who might be able to save her. But this was more than just a medical challenge. This was a test of his character under impossible pressure. The aliens wanted to see what kind of person he really was when everything was on the line. Marcus took a deep breath and placed his hands on Zexathara's forehead. I'll do it. The crystal plague was like a living nightmare inside her body. It attacked her nervous system while simultaneously hardening her internal organs. Marcus had to fight the disease on multiple levels at once for 3 hours. He worked without stopping. Sweat poured down his face as he battled to save his friend's life. Several times, he almost lost the fight. The plague was more aggressive than anything he had encountered, but Marcus refused to give up. He drew on every technique he had learned, every instinct he had developed. Most importantly, he drew on his human determination to never abandon a friend finally. As the alien representatives watched in tense silence, the gray color began to fade from Zexathara's exoskeleton. The crystals crumbled away. Her breathing became stronger and more regular. Zexathara opened her compound eyes and looked up at Marcus. Thank you, she whispered. Marcus collapsed from exhaustion, but he was smiling. He had done it. He had saved her. High Queen Zarvathis approached and looked down at both of them. For a long moment, she said nothing. Dr. Chen, she finally announced, you have passed the test. Not because of your abilities, but because of your character. You risked everything to save a friend, even when failure would have doomed your entire species. She turned to address all the alien representatives. I declare that humanity has proven worthy of these gifts. Dr. Chen and his people will be welcomed as partners in the galactic community. Marcus felt a wave of relief wash over him. The test was over, and somehow he had succeeded. But as he helped Zexathara sit up, he realized that this was not really an ending. It was a beginning. Everything that happened next would determine how humanity used this incredible opportunity. The galaxy was watching, and the future had never been more uncertain. 6 months had passed since the day Marcus Chen saved Zexathara's life. Now he stood in the observation deck of the newly built medical academy, watching human and Vorthic students work together. In the training facilities below, the academy was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. It floated in space between Earth and the Vorthic homeworld, a symbol of the new partnership that had emerged from that one terrible mistake in a medical bay. The third-year students are making excellent progress, Zexathara said as she joined Marcus at the window. She looked completely healthy now, with no trace of the crystal plague that had nearly killed her. Marcus smiled as he watched a young human woman work alongside a Vorthic queen to heal a patient with a rare genetic disorder. The human used her enhanced abilities to see the problem at the cellular level, while the Vorthic provided the instinctive knowledge of how to fix it. I never imagined it would work this well, Marcus said. Below them, dozens of medical teams practice techniques that combine human analytical thinking with Vorthic intuitive healing. The results were better than either species could achieve alone. Dr. Chen. Came a voice behind them. Marcus turned to see Commander Walsh approaching. She had been promoted to Admiral and now served as the human liaison to the Galactic Medical Council. Admiral, Marcus said with a smile. How did the council meeting go? Very well, Walsh replied. The Zirian government has officially requested a joint medical team to help with the crystal corruption outbreak on their mining worlds. The Luminals want to establish a research partnership to study energy-based healing, and the Zephyrians are asking for help developing new surgical techniques. Marcus felt a warm sense of satisfaction when the news of his transformation had first spread across the galaxy. Many species had been frightened. They worried that humans would become too powerful or use their new abilities for war. Instead, humanity had chosen a different path, working with the Vorthic. They had focused on healing and helping others. The fears had gradually turned into respect and gratitude. There's more news, Walsh continued. The council has approved your proposal for the advanced healing program. We can begin training the next group of human candidates next month. Marcus nodded. Over the past 6 months, they had carefully developed a safe process for giving other humans the same abilities he possessed. It required precise genetic screening and months of preparation, but it worked. 23 humans now shared his enhanced capabilities, and more were training every day. How many applications do we have? Zexathara asked. Over 10,000, Walsh replied. People from every nation on Earth want to join the program. We're being very selective, choosing only those who show the right combination of intelligence, empathy, and emotional stability. Marcus was proud of how carefully they had approached this responsibility. They could have created an army of enhanced humans in months, but instead they had chosen to move slowly and focus on healing rather than power. A soft chime indicated an incoming message. Walsh activated her communicator, and a holographic image of High Queen Zarvethes appeared before them. Admiral Walsh, Dr. Chen. The massive Vorthic Queen said in her deep voice, I have news that will interest you greatly. What is it, Your Majesty? Walsh asked. We have made a remarkable discovery, Zarvethes continued. Our scientists have been studying the neural patterns of enhanced humans. They have found something unexpected. Marcus felt a flutter of concern. What kind of discovery? It appears that human neural architecture has a unique quantum signature. The Queen explained. This signature allows humans to consciously control abilities that my people can only use instinctively. But more importantly, we have discovered that this quantum pattern can be shared. Shared how? Zexathara asked. Enhanced humans can temporarily grant their abilities to others through direct neural contact, Zarvethes said. The effect lasts only a few hours. but it means that one enhanced human can create a temporary medical team of ordinary humans. When needed, Marcus stared at the hologram in amazement. Are you saying we can share our abilities with other people? Exactly. This discovery changes everything. It means that human enhanced healers can multiply their effectiveness by training others to work with them. A single enhanced human could coordinate a team of 50 ordinary doctors, all temporarily sharing the same advanced abilities. Walsh looked excited. This could revolutionize emergency medical response. We could have enhanced healing teams anywhere in the galaxy within hours. There is more. Zarvethes continued. We believe this quantum signature is not an accident. Our deepest records speak of an ancient species that possessed similar abilities. They disappeared millions of years ago, but they left behind genetic markers in several modern species. You think humans are connected to this ancient race? Marcus asked. We think humans may be their descendants, the Queen replied, which would explain why the neural enhancement worked on you when it should have been impossible. Marcus felt a chill of wonder. The idea that humanity might be connected to some ancient galactic civilization was incredible. What happened to this ancient species? Zexathara asked. We do not know, Zarvethes admitted, but their records suggest they were healers and teachers. They traveled throughout the galaxy, helping other species develop and grow. Perhaps humans are meant to continue that mission after the communication ended. Marcus, Zexathara, and Wall stood in silence for several minutes, processing this revelation. So what does this mean for us? Walsh finally asked. Marcus looked out at the academy again. Human and alien students continued their work, unaware of the momentous conversation that had just taken place. It means we have an even greater responsibility than we thought, he said. If we really are connected to this ancient healing race, then we need to live up to that legacy. Zexathara placed one of her hands on Marcus's shoulder. You have already begun. When I made that mistake 6 months ago, I thought I had destroyed both our futures. Instead, I helped discover humanity's greatest gift, which was, Marcus asked, the ability to bring out the best in others. She replied, humans don't just heal bodies, you heal relationships between species, you heal fear and mistrust. You heal the divisions that have separated the galaxy for thousands of years. Marcus thought about this in the months since his transformation. He had seen remarkable changes in how different species interacted. The medical academy had become a meeting place where former enemies learned to work together. Trade partnerships had formed. Cultural exchanges had begun. All because one alien nurse had made a mistake and one human had chosen to use the resulting gift to help others. Dr. Chen. Came a new voice. Marcus turned to see Dr. Sarah Kim approaching with a tablet in her hands. You have a call from Earth. It's the Secretary General of the United Nations. Marcus smiled. Tell her I'll take it in my office. But first, I want to check on the students. As they walked toward the training facilities, Marcus reflected on how much his life had changed. 6 months ago, he had been a simple biologist studying alien plants. Now he was helping to shape the future of galactic civilization. The wrong shock that Zexathara had given him had done more than enhance his abilities. It had revealed humanity's true purpose among the stars, not as conquerors or explorers, but as healers and bridge-builders. In the training room, Marcus watched a human student successfully perform a complex neural repair on a Vorthic patient. The procedure had been impossible just a year ago. Now it was routine. Thank you, the Vorthic patient said to the human student. You have given me back my life. The student smiled. That's what we're here for. Marcus nodded to himself. That simple exchange captured everything important about what they were building here. Humans had found their place in the galaxy not through force or politics, but through the simple act of caring for others. As he headed to his office to take the call from Earth, Marcus could sense the peaceful thoughts of everyone in the academy. Humans, Vorthok, Zirians, and dozens of other species all working together toward the same goal. The galaxy was becoming a better place, one healed patient at a time. And it had all started with one small mistake that turned out to be the most important accident in human history. Marcus smiled as he realized that sometimes the best discoveries come not from careful planning, but from the courage to turn mistakes into miracles. The future was bright, and humanity was finally ready to help light the way for everyone.